Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and hope you're having a great Sunday. And welcome to this new video right here on Ethereum. I'm going to do a brief Sunday update, but we will also talk, of course, a little bit about what to expect towards the end of today, which usually gets a little bit more volatile, and what to expect at the beginning of the next week, of course, from Ethereum. So let's get right into it. I mean, I'm going to probably keep this video relatively short. I just made two relatively long videos on Bitcoin and XRP, and I felt like I was yapping a little bit too much. So let's just get to the most important points right here on Ethereum. We'll talk mostly technicals. I have spoken about the fundamentals for Ethereum very often already in my last videos. I think that's irrelevant, but I mean, ETF inflows, those do matter. Those are already incorporated into this analysis, even though I won't speak about that too much specifically. Ethereum stablecoin, what is going on, that I know of, and that's already implemented as well. And the Ethereum Fusaka upgrades, same thing, right? Those are all things we mentioned and we covered over the course of the last week. That is all implemented into my bias on Ethereum and my prediction on Ethereum. So good that you know. What we see right now from Ethereum is that we have a strong bottom right here at 2700. Has been great. Price development afterwards has been relatively constructive as well. I would argue that if you compare Ethereum against Bitcoin, that the leverage is relatively high. Like the leverage for Bitcoin is quite significantly lower right now if you compare to earlier times than it is for Ethereum. But that's also not so. It's also not that much of a difference, and I would say it matters a lot for what we can expect for Ethereum. It does mean we can see a little bit more volatility, right? Because of the market conditions, the low liquidity, low volume, we can already expect volatility. So that is something you should know. But maybe a little bit more because of that open interest, that leverage in the price. If we look at ETH BTC, though, we've been relatively stable right here. So I wouldn't expect us to severely underperform Bitcoin. That would also not be in line with the fundamentals. Excuse the coffee machine on the background. My audio is not so good on my laptop, so you will hear that. But yeah, so when it comes to that, like there is some leverage, but ultimately I don't think that matters a lot. We got that tap at the yearly rolling VWAP right here. That's a critical resistance level. I think we have a good chance to break above that in the next week. At least in December, for now I have a slightly bullish bias for December. That doesn't mean that it's going to be one big uptrend. That almost never happens. Slightly bullish bias, but what I do think on the short term and what matters a little bit more, and that's also in line with that with that leverage, is the fact that we have formed some balance right here on Thursday, and so far we've also held that. But throughout yesterday, we actually had some bearish pressure right here. We had some relatively high volume for a Saturday bearish pressure. So far, we dropped down into the fair value gap right here, got a strong reaction. Formed the fair value gap, held the fair value gap. So that has all been fine. However, I think when you take a look at the structure and when you see the point of control shifting downwards a little bit on Saturday as well, I would be very surprised. And also with that strong resistance at the yearly rolling VWAP, I would say short term, specifically for Ethereum. I think for Bitcoin, you should be prepared for it as well, but it's a little bit less urgent. I would say for Ethereum, it would make a lot of sense from a technical and from fundamental perspective that we're going to at least test that support level right here at 2940. 2940, you have the 7-day rolling VWAP, you have this naked point of control right here, which we shifted from on Wednesday, right? So Wednesday, we got that bullish momentum. Back then, the real value, the point of control was sitting at 2940. I think it's likely we're going to test that. Then we also have a naked point of control right here at 2840 and 2750 down the line. And if we get bad news, those could be critical support levels. So it's worth it to know about that. But ultimately, I don't think the conditions are that bad or that there's so much leverage in the price or anything. And we're going to spike down into that. So on the higher time frames, what that would look like for Ethereum here on the 4-hour time frame, is that we do something like this, right? So that we drop down into the 7-day rolling VWAP. I would argue it is a possibility we drop down into 2900, 2870 as well, which as you can see is a critical support level, consolidation. And then afterwards, I do think we can grab some liquidity and tap some of those important levels here to the upside towards 3200. The yearly rolling VWAP at 3080 is the most important resistance level. Historically, that is a very strong resistance level as well. But there have been times where Ethereum kind of fluctuates around that. And that is also why I think we can break above that, especially if these general conditions in the market right now stay the same. But those are my thoughts. That's sort of thing you need to know for now. So thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you on my next videos, and bye.